Hey everybody, it's Sunday morning, and that means it's time for Sunday Singles. My name is Rich, and we're going to be talking today about Elton John singles, such as this one, which I'm going to cue up right now. You might recognize this. This is Philadelphia Freedom, Elton John's big hit song from 1975. Now, I have been an Elton John fan ever since this song was released, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And this is playing on my original copy of the Elton John single, Philadelphia Freedom. I'm going to talk about that now. I've been a fan of Elton John for a long time, as I said. He played in Philadelphia on Friday night on his birthday. I wasn't able to go, but that's okay. I saw him about 9 times in the 1980s, and he always put on a great show, and I'm sure he did on Friday night. Now, I just want to today. I just want to highlight some of the singles that I have. These are all Elton John singles. I probably have more singles by Elton John than anyone else in my record collection. I'm not exactly sure about that, but I think it's probably true. So I just want to briefly highlight a few of the ones now that I have been listening to the last couple days. Here, for example, is the original picture sleeve of the Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds single. This came out in 1974. John Lennon plays on it under the guise of Dr. Winston O. Boogie, and this was part of what led to John Lennon joining Elton John on stage in 1974, Thanksgiving time. It's the last time that John Lennon appeared on stage. He played 3 songs with Elton John, which leads us to the next single I want to show you. This is, as I said, my original copy of Philadelphia Freedom. The lyrics are on the back, and this is what's playing right now on my turntable. This is one of the first singles I bought. I believe my grandmother thought I played it way too much. I don't know where I know that from, but the B-side is John Lennon and Elton John together on stage at Madison Square Garden, performing I Saw Her Standing There, the Beatles song, which, as John Lennon notes, Paul McCartney wrote. I've always thought it was a nice gesture that the last time he ever appeared on stage, that John Lennon happened to sing a song that was by Paul McCartney. He didn't plan on it being the last time he was on stage, but as we all know, it was. Later, another EP came out, 3-song EP. This has all 3 songs that Elton John and John Lennon performed that night. I Saw Her Standing There, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. So it's nice to have them all 3 together. Now, this is the original picture sleeve to Philadelphia Freedom, as I just mentioned. Years later, I found this. This was released in Philadelphia. It's a WFIL, Philadelphia's big AM radio station at the time, Rockin' in the Cradle of Liberty, a special souvenir issue of Philadelphia Freedom. You get the single on the inside, but with a white label instead of the black and rainbow MCA label. And it also still has I Saw Her Standing There on the back. So, Philadelphia Freedom, probably one of my all-time favorite songs. Not my all-time favorite, but definitely one of them. Next up, we have Island Girl. This was another big hit by Elton John in 1975, late 75. And this single is notable for, the physical single itself, is notable for my label, which I put on it. It says Rich W on it. And this was just in case someone should come into our house and decide to steal my Elton John singles. Whenever we found the perpetrator, I would know this was my single because my name was on it, Rich W. Very adequate security device for my Elton John records. Island Girl, another one of my big favorites. The B-side is a Kiki D song called Sugar on the Floor. It's a very understated piano ballad, and I've always kind of liked that one too, actually. So, a couple more that I'll talk to you about. This one is called Ego. This is a 1978 single, which his name isn't even on the sleeve. The flip side is called Flintstone Boy, one of the few Elton John songs for which he wrote the lyrics. And Ego is actually one of his great classic lost songs, if you will. It only scraped into the top 40 for a few weeks, It's a propulsive, musically song. The lyrics are this sort of cynical indictment of stardom. And it seems very autobiographical, even though Bernie Taupin, of course, wrote the lyrics. One of my favorites, another one of my favorites by him, but like I said, it's sort of a lost single. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about today is in my blue box of childhood stuff. This is not a single. This will show you the allegiance that I had to Elton John back in the 70s. This is my Elton John belt buckle. I wore this belt buckle to school, probably in 5th or 6th grade. And while you might think in the 70s it was cool, it was considered cool to be an Elton John fan, I actually caught quite a bit of flack from some kids for expressing my allegiance to Elton John, particularly through the use of a belt buckle. Some people just did not like Elton John. And I won't say that I was bullied over it. That's probably a strong word. But I did get called some names because I liked Elton John. And what can I say? From the beginning, I recognized an expert tunesmith when I heard one and saw one. And Elton John certainly was, and I believe certainly still is. He's made albums in the last 10 years that I've liked a lot. So there you go, Elton John singles. Happy birthday, Elton John, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support.